tried eating less, starting over on Monday, and telling yourself this time will be different, but the weight still isn't coming off? This episode is for you. Today, we're talking about why eating less isn't helping you lose weight anymore, why it's keeping so many busy moms stuck, and what actually works when willpower and motivation aren't enough. Welcome back to Sugar Not Included. I'm Teresa here with my sister, Christina.
Hello, thanks for joining us, everybody. Yeah, okay, so for all you busy moms out there, we're talking to you. We're busy moms
Yes.
ourselves, and so we're going to talk about one of the myths we've kind of talked about in previous episodes, but why eating less isn't working for you. So we have what about 5 tips, Teresa, that we're going to cover to
Yes.
help it make sense, and for us too, to help remind us on when we're super busy, why eating less just isn't what's going to be right for you.
hmm
So do you want to go over the first tip, sis?
Yeah. What we were told is like less calories, less input equals weight loss. And I think that works just for a little bit. Um, I think just for because your body's like, whoa, okay, I'm not eating as much. So that does end up working. However, I feel like it's harder to maintain
Mm-hmm.
as well. And usually what ends up happening is your weight loss stalls,
Yeah.
your hunger increases, your energy crashes, your cravings come, metabolism slows. Like there's just a lot that happens over time. Have you noticed that for you, like over time, like just constantly trying to eat less?
Yes. Yeah. So and it is true. So like you talked about, the reason it will work at first initially for a week or two, but then your body is super quick on adapting. And so it'll actually adapt and it'll slow your metabolism down.
hmm
And so, and then like you talk about, you have the hunger and the cravings. And so you have to make sure you're still eating enough your body. But yeah, when you cut your calories down so much, it'll cause your body to stall because your body will go into that mode of, wait, I'm not getting enough calories, so now I'm going to slow my metabolism down, and then you hit that plateau. So for some
hmm
people, they'll hit their plateau like within a week. Other people might take a few months, but inevitably you'll always hit that plateau for the restriction. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I notice is as you're losing weight, you start feeling better. You start really moving your body more. And what people don't realize is the more you move your body and the more calories you burn, like working out and things,
Yeah.
you need that food to sustain the calories lost as well.
Right.
So that's another thing that I've noticed where when I've been running a lot more, um, my weight kind of plateaued because I actually wasn't eating enough to sustain the energy I actually needed. And so
Yeah.
I actually need that food for my body.
Yeah, I remember when I was seeing a personal trainer, and he told me, he goes, you actually need to eat something before you go work out. And the
hmm
way he explained it was because your body needs fuel to to burn fuel.
Burn the
And so,
fuel. Yeah.
right. So I was thinking was I'll go into the gym and work out, and in theory, I mean, like I have enough fuel on me, right? Like I don't need to add any more. But he said it's just
Yeah.
like basically gets the fire started. I'm sure there's
Yes.
a more scientific word for that. But I was like, oh, so you need to have a little something in there to
hmm
help have the energy to get going. Is kind of how I pictured it. So it doesn't have to be something huge. I remember when I was getting ready for that fitness competition, my trainers recommended just like a half a piece of fruit or a little something that's easy to digest, right? You don't want something heavy like peanut
hmm
butter or like avocado. So something that is like a fruit or a piece of apple, something that's very
hmm
fast to digest, that's not super heavy. And that's what your body needs. So like you talk about, your body needs fuel to burn fuel. And
Yeah.
it's it can be overwhelming because what's right for one person is not going to be right for
Right.
another person. And then the other important thing to remember is because your body does adapt. Like that's not a curse. It's one of the amazing things about our body is that it adapts.
hmm
And so what might be working for you now might not continue to work for you months down the road, especially if you are losing weight, especially if you're increasing your endurance, your strength training. You'll have to
Hmm.
constantly check in with your body. So yeah, so why eating less is not effective in the long run is for all of those reasons we listed. It slows down your metabolism, your body adapts to it. Like you talk about, it sends those hunger cues to you, and that's just a miserable place to be. Just constantly thinking
Yeah.
about food. It's tough mentally. So don't restrict your calories any more than is necessary. There are a ton of resources out there to figure out what your calorie intake should be. Obviously, if you have any special health or medical considerations, definitely take that into account. Definitely check in with your doctor or someone who can
Yes.
definitely give you more specific on how many calories you should be eating. So all of
Hmm.
those things really have to come to, into into your thought
Right.
process. Yeah,
Yeah. And that definitely goes into like the curiosity
yeah,
thing of like of yeah, in your body. And like for me, I'm still breastfeeding, so I need to make sure
right.
that I am taking in that water and that food so that my milk supply does not drop.
Yeah,
So yeah, there's a lot of
that's a good
things like
point. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
especially for
yeah,
busy
pregnant
moms
moms,
who
nursing moms.
pregnant
Mm-hmm.
moms, yeah, moms breastfeeding still. Yeah, you don't want to cut it too much because yeah, you don't want your milk supply to
Yeah, because
dwindle.
it will impact that for sure. So you got to definitely
Yes.
take that in mind. Yeah, and if
Yeah.
that kind of rolls, excuse me, that kind of rolls into our next point, which is what eating less used to look like versus what it means now.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you want to talk about like the traditional view of how we used to think about
Oh,
what that looked like.
yeah, yeah, definitely eating less, fewer calories that you can burn, skipping portions or cutting portions or completely skipping meals,
Mm-hmm.
prioritizing quantity over quality, and then that usually breaks down into when you step on that scale and really judging that scale. The old view was definitely that scale. If that scale wasn't moving, it was because you were eating too
Yeah.
much. And I know for a while, I even did the fasting for a while because I was like, oh, I need to skip meals
Oh, like the intermittent
because
fasting?
yeah, the
Yeah.
intermittent fasting and stuff. I don't know who said it, but they were like, everybody's a faster whether they want to or not, because when you go to sleep at night,
Mm,
your body's fasting.
right.
So technically everybody's faster. But
True.
yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, because you're but yeah, it definitely went into the smaller the portions. And again, I almost went back into, you know, you had to be crazy hungry. If you were hungry, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose weight because I'm eating such small portions.
Well,
Traditional way, yeah.
and that traditional thought process really was primarily focused on the result on the scale, like you talked about.
Hmm.
So cutting your calories down was purely to get to seeing the scale drop. And so what we're realizing now is that, and what we've talked about in the past is that scale, that number does not talk about the full picture. It does not actually talk
Hmm.
about your true health, your physical health. And what we like to go to more deep conversation about is your mental health. So it
Mental,
is
yeah.
purely just to affect the number on the scale. And it reminds me of a story. Gosh, what's his name? Ted Robbins. Who was that really famous motivational speaker? Oh my gosh, what is it? Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins. He talked
Oh.
about. He's like, can you lose 20 pounds in one day? Like, if you really wanted to, can you lose 20 pounds? And people are like, well, gosh, how would you do that? And he goes, yeah, you could if you really wanted to. And I think it was something like, if you like cut your arm off or something extreme, yeah, you'd lose 20 pounds. Um, the point was kind of like, is that really what, but how is that going to actually look for you? Right? Like, just kind of
Right.
bring up kind of like that. So that number on the scale doesn't mean anything, really is not as reflective as you think it is. So restricting your calories
Hmm.
really is only just to impact the scale. So I would say challenge yourself and really talk about, are you really just wanting to see the number on the scale change? Is that really the only thing that you are using to determine if you're being successful with your health journey or not. And if that's the
Hmm.
only thing you're using to judge if you're getting healthier or not, I really challenge you as a listener. And if maybe you know some people out there who primarily focus on just the scale, is you need to look beyond that. You've got to use other metrics to measure improving your health because the number on this
Hmm.
scale does not reflect your physical and mental
Right.
health. It just is purely a number, like Tony Robbins talked about. You can cut your arm off. Oh yeah, I lost 20 pounds, but now you don't have an arm. So it's like it's just a ridiculous thing if you kind of really think
Yeah.
about it. The traditional view of just purely looking at calories really cheats you out of being able to experience the full spectrum. And also, like you talked
Hmm.
about, kind of the first tip, restricting calories too much actually produces cortisol. It stresses your body out, and that
Hmm.
cortisol makes you hold on to the fat and just kind of put you down with this wrong path mentally and physically that you don't want to go down. So really, really be cautious and be cognizant of restricting calories and like we talked about already, making sure you're checking in with somebody or a professional who can really advise you on what the proper amount of calories should be for you. And again, it is going to
Yes.
change based off of your weight, your age, breastfeeding, pregnancy, all of those things. You have to take those into account because you cannot compare yourself to another person like, oh, my friend Jane, she only eats 1,000 calories a day. Okay, well, Jane is not breastfeeding. Jane is doesn't have kids.
Yeah.
She's gonna need 10 hours of sleep. Like, I don't
Oh
know,
my gosh,
So
yeah.
it's like, so you really cannot compare yourself to other people, even if like, well, so and so is breastfeeding or is pregnant and she bounced back and this is what she did.
Yeah.
Okay, but there are so many other factors beyond just the
Just
number of calories.
that, yeah.
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
leads us into the number three tip, which is the biological factors.
Yes, this plays, I feel like one of the biggest roles because, yeah, your body composition, your age, hormones, diet
Yeah.
history, um, that's just to name, I think, a few of like
Mm-hmm.
where you are in your life. Like, there's just so many things that play a role. And like, for me, I have three littles at home. I'm still breastfeeding. I mean, all my three littles are getting up all during the night.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's playing a huge role in my weight loss journey. And
Right.
so, um, yeah, and then my age, like I just turned 36, so I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm getting a little bit closer to that 40, which is a little bit scary. But that's starting to kind of play a role into things. And so, yeah, like you're there's so many things that play a role, like where somebody in their young 20s that doesn't have kids is
Right.
going to lose weight very differently to a mom, or somebody that's a little bit older.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, for me, losing weight after kids is so much harder.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Did you find that harder for you to lose weight after having the girls?
Oh yeah, it was impossible. Yeah, it was extremely hard. I had to eventually get medicine to help because
Yeah.
I just needed some help to get beyond that huge big hurdle because I was trying to lose between 60 and 80 pounds. I had gained that much through pregnancy.
Wow.
And I visualize it almost uh, like someone who has like an extremely busy house or messy house. Like sometimes your house is, there's just so much in there. You
Yeah.
need people to come in and help you get to the point where you can
Yeah.
manage it. And that's where I feel like I was with my weight. Like I knew all the things I was supposed to be
Hmm.
doing. I knew how to exercise. I knew how to eat healthy, but my body was just really struggling. And so, yeah, sometimes you do need that little bit of assistance, uh, medical assistance,
Hmm.
which is what I was able to do, which made a huge difference. And so, partnering that with the healthier lifestyle, moving more, and being more gentle and loving to myself, which is
Yeah.
something we hope everybody takes away listening to this, is a lot of us do this all through punishment for ourselves,
Hmm.
because we feel like if I lose the weight, I'll like myself more. I'm how dare I gain all this weight? That's how I felt. Like, how dare I? I was so disappointed in myself that I gained so much weight during the
Yeah.
pregnancy. I felt like my body betrayed me. And it's
Hmm.
what a harmful, what a pointless thing to do, other than just was cause more harm. And I honestly think
Yeah.
that prevented me from losing the weight because I was so hard on myself. I was so negative on myself. I was restricting my calories as a way to punish myself. Like, I'm not going to love you until you get to a certain weight, and then I'll like you again. And so that is,
Hmm.
if there's one thing I think you could take away from this, is please, if you recognize that, if any part of that is a flicker of, oh, that's how I talk to myself, please start there and recognize you've got to shift your mindset into loving yourself,
Yes.
into health. And we have all sorts of resources. All of our episodes essentially have that thread, that common thread
Yeah.
of how to love yourself. But so biologically, right? Like, sometimes you cannot get away from that to a degree. So you have to recognize that.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was going to say too is for people to take into consideration that you could be the same height or weight, but that even that doesn't mean you have the same body composition. Some people
Hmm.
have more muscle mass than others. Some people do have bigger bones, bigger bone density. So somebody who has more muscles is going to burn a little bit more calories. You're going to need a little bit more calories versus somebody else who might not have as many muscles. So again, you really have to be cognizant of who you're comparing yourself to. If
Right.
you're comparing yourself to somebody else, like, oh well, she only has to eat 1,000 calories a day, but you really don't know everything about her and her body composition. So
Right.
again, you've just it comes down like you talked about Teresa, being curious, learning more about yourself, and again, it has to go beyond just what the scale is saying. So
Yeah.
that's what I
Yeah.
have about tip three biology.
Yeah, I wanted to go back and just say that I love that you said that you got a little bit of help.
Yeah,
Because I feel like I just want to take a little bit of moment of recognizing that, of like you going to the doctor. Sometimes you could be doing literally
yeah,
all of the things. You could be
everything
doing it
right.
all right, and your body sometimes just needs some help.
Mm-hmm.
And what I loved was that you went and got the
Oh,
help that you needed
yeah,
and deserved,
right. Thank
and
you.
through
Yeah, it
loving
did.
yourself.
It took a lot. Yeah, I had to advocate for myself. I really did have to stand up for myself
Yeah.
because I had that guilt and that shame. Like, I should know what I to do. I should be able to just eat right and exercise, and the weight should be coming off. And I struggled for what, like 8 years. And finally, I'm like,
Hmm.
you know what? Maybe I need some extra help. And then there was
Yeah.
the fear of the doctors saying, just exercise and eat right, right? Because
Yeah.
that was my fear. That's why I didn't want to bring it up to them, because I felt like they were going to shame me back into like, it's all my fault. And so when I finally, like, enough was enough, like, I need help. Like, I've done everything. I've spent thousands of dollars on trainers and those programs you get on your app, those memberships to track
Hmm.
things, and all of that stuff. Like, I've done all of that, and like it would kind of
Wow.
work, and then it would just kind of go back. And so yeah, so I advocated for myself. I was fortunate that I had someone who was empathetic and finally heard me. But then I
Hmm.
do have to say, once I went back for a follow up, it was a different doctor, and he said exactly what I was scared that he was going to say. He said exactly that, which was, you need to just eat right and exercise. And something like snapped inside, because I don't know a ton of things, but I do know what myself and how hard I've been trying. And so I looked at him straight in the
Hmm.
eye and I said, listen, everything you just said was my biggest fear and why it's taken me 8 years to come here and ask for help. I was like, I have been doing all of those things. And I told him, like, I have a master's in exercise science. I have I had my own health and wellness business. I've coached people, I've personal trained, I've done a fitness competition, I've done all of these things. I still need help. And he goes, oh, well, you didn't tell me that part. I said, you didn't ask. And I shouldn't have to tell you that.
Right.
That
Yeah.
shouldn't be what it takes for you to listen to me. And I was like, man, if I'm in this position
Hmm.
and that's what it takes for them to listen to me, like, how many other women out there feel that way, just feel so invalidated
Right.
and feel shamed and to feel like they're the fault. And so
Yeah.
I'm glad that I did advocate for myself, and he did
Hmm.
apologize, and he helped me come up with a plan. Yeah, and I was really proud of myself because I did have to advocate, and I've had to advocate since. It's not like that was a one and done. I
Hmm.
had to continuously advocate for myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, let that be another thing too. Is and it's not easy. Like we don't always have the exact same story. Things aren't gonna unravel or unfold the same way. You just have to know when you have to stand up for yourself and really advocate. And just because one door closes, don't give up on yourself and keep, because it's your
Hmm.
health. This is your life. And no one's going to care about it more than you do. And
Yeah.
yeah, you just got to practice using that voice. So, but yeah, so
Yeah.
that I got that help, and it's been life changing. So yeah, so there
Wow.
are times where you do have to have that extra help, and that's okay. We all have a different team. Sometimes we have just ourselves on the team, and sometimes we need other people on the team to help get to that goal. And there's no shame in that.
Hmm.
So it just really comes down to listening to yourself and advocating and not giving up, even when a door closes
Yeah.
on you. Just keep going. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing that story because that's
Yeah.
so
Thank you.
powerful,
Oh,
so
thanks.
powerful.
Thank you.
Because I feel like I feel like there is a ton of women who feel like they can't ask for help,
Right.
or if they, right, because like we have to, that old narrative, like we have to um, suffer through
Right.
it,
Right. Or like we're doing
or,
something
and then,
wrong. I guess my fault.
right, we're doing,
Yeah, I'm not
right.
trying hard
And
enough.
so,
Yeah.
right. And then, like, we try to be so perfect 100% of the
Right.
time. And sometimes it is literally out of our control.
Yeah.
It's something, there's, pregnancies, hormones, PCOS, like
Mm-hmm.
there's just so many things
Yeah.
that are completely out of our control of why sometimes you hit a stall or can't lose weight or
Right.
whatever. So definitely going to the doctor but doing it out of love and not hatred.
Yeah.
And
Right.
yeah, I love everything you just said and sharing your story. That was very, very powerful. And I think our listeners
Thank
are
you.
really gonna get a lot out of that. So thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that.
of course. Yeah, and if anybody has any more questions, I'd reach out. I'd be more than happy to tell you more about my journey. And it's not over. Like Teresa, like I
Yeah.
told you, uh,
Hmm.
it's just, and now it's just learning to continuously advocate for myself and
Yeah.
listening to that voice inside. Women, we all have that voice, and it's taken a while to tune back in so I can actually hear her and trust to speak
Hmm.
up for her. And it's a constant learning. It's because you're always faced with a new situation, different doctor, different circumstances. But it's just
Yeah.
like I told you the other day. It's like I'm not going to give up on myself,
Yeah.
and I'm never leaving her alone again. I'm going to be there for her,
Yes.
and it might not be perfect, and yeah, there might be some doors that get shut, but I'm going to keep going. And so that's really something for all of us to keep in mind, is that no one's going to care about your health more than you, and you have to be the one that cares
Hmm.
about your health. And how you
Yes.
take care of yourself is not going to always look the same from other people, for
Hmm.
different circumstances, different health reasons, different biological reasons. We all have our own
Hmm.
uh, trauma that we're dealing with. We all have our
Yes.
unique circumstances we're currently dealing with. And so be gentle on yourself. Do not compare your story to somebody else's. uh, because we're all just, you can learn from other people's story and draw inspiration and motivation. But just
Hmm.
because somebody else is doing it one way and seeing results does not mean you're a failure.
Yeah.
You just got to keep going. Just don't give up. Okay. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining my TED Talk today.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like this kind of goes right into uh, a good way to talk to our next talking point of why chronic restriction backfires,
Yeah.
especially for moms, which
Mm,
is kind of like the food restriction that we've talked about, which uh, when we restrict food and then we have those cravings, it goes into, you know, almost like a fear mode. of,
Yeah.
your for me, it's almost like when I restrict food, it goes into like pure almost survival mode where it's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I have to have this. It almost, like a drug. It's almost like I need it, I need it, I need it now.
Yeah.
And it really intensifies. And so, yeah, we constantly tell, I mean, how many times do we go to parties and stuff and, oh, I just started a diet. Oh, I'm being bad. And it's just a
Hmm.
cookie. And we tell ourselves like, oh, um, yeah, this is just so bad of me. Dr. Terry said that in our previous episodes of, how we talk about our food and then our body
Yeah.
is like, oh, this is bad.
Hmm.
But yeah, when we restrict those foods, our body um, handles it s- like so stressful when we do get those cravings.
Right. Well, and
Yeah,
it is an actual stress response. It's not
yeah,
necessarily all in our head. It is legitimately our body responding. And
hmm
I'm sure everyone's familiar one way or another that historically that's how we've survived is
yeah,
because our body does respond to that. It's like, oh, we're going through what a starvation or a winter or whatever. And so your
hmm
metabolism does slow down. And it's to save yourself. And so what we think today is as a curse, if we could flip the script on that and be absolutely amazed on what our body is trying to do. Our body is doing everything in its power to keep us alive, to keep us healthy. It might have a different definition of what healthy is compared to what we want. Like it doesn't look at the cover of fitness
yeah,
magazines like, oh, it's all about the
yeah,
biological part of being healthy. And so just pausing for a moment to recognize the awe and wonder of the human body and what
mm
it really is trying to do and get to give thanks to that, and then also understand it's not just mental, like, oh, I'll just mentally persevere through this. There are actual hormones that are being released in your body to intentionally slow down your metabolism, and to kick into those cravings to get you to eat because it thinks you're starving. So once you can kind of
yeah,
recognize that it's not a failure, it's not that you're mentally weak, your body through thousands of generations and years historically, like, there's a reason for it. So don't
yeah,
fight that. Admire that, love that,
hmm
and work through that. That's really
yeah,
the only way you can get there, because you can't fight through biology and through
yeah,
hormones, right? Without like some kind of intense intervention. But that is important to remember. But like with that though, especially with busy moms, like Tracy, you talked about other things you can control that can help, well, to a degree, is like sleep,
hmm
right? Like I know you really
yeah,
struggle with your sleep. I'd love to know a little bit more about
yeah.
your sleep or lack of sleep and how you juggle that with your weight loss journey.
Yeah, so this is one where sleep during the night is just not in my control. Because yeah, I have three kids that get up all during the night. I'm still breastfeeding during the night.
Yeah.
And and sleep is so huge for, oh my gosh, like survival, really. Like
Yeah.
sleep and water are your two like, things for anything. And so I'm like, well, yeah, things that I can control is maybe getting to bed a little bit earlier, um, and not scrolling on Facebook. Like,
Put that phone down.
I know, I know. I'm like, oh my goodness, because sometimes I'm like, oh, finally me time, But
Yeah.
then I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm spending like 2 to 3 hours of just scrolling and mindless,
Right.
whatever. So I have been trying to find time during the day just to rest. And that's taken me, it's crazy how, where I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to be doing something. I need to be doing something. But yeah, when the boys are resting during the day, taking their nap, then I love my house, in Germany, we have the Rollladens, which are like on all the windows, you can close them and it blocks out the house. Um, and I love those things. So I'll close the Rollladens and I just, yeah, during their nap, I'll lay there with them and I just allow myself the 10-15 minutes. Sometimes that's all my body really needs is the 10-15 minutes. No TV, no phone, where I'm just actually kind of resting myself. So I'm trying to find those rests during the day.
Hmm.
Um, the other thing I've been doing is, you know, the boys usually will fall asleep in the car. And so, and they do not transfer outside of the car. So I'm like, sometimes I'm stuck in the car for an hour. So what I've been doing is I've been bringing my books with me. Um, and then sometimes I'll even like rest in the car 10-15 minutes, kind of just close my eyes. I go to like my parking or a parking spot and we'll just rest. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've been trying to find days during or time during the day to rest because during the night that's just out of my control. But
Yeah.
like in my control, I can actually go to bed at a more decent time. I
Hmm.
can try to find times during the day to actually rest to kind of
Yeah.
catch up for that.
Well,
But
that's good. Well, and that really brings up the point about for moms, especially with younger kids, where you're doing most of you're
hmm
really more hands on. It's super high demand, and so they
yeah,
probably recognize a lot with what you're talking about. And what moms often do, and I'm guilty as well, is like the three things we talked about was skip meals, right? Go like, oh, I'm too
hmm
busy. You're in the mornings, you're busy either helping try and get them out the door or whatever is taking up your time in the mornings. And then or
hmm
you'll go to grab a quick meal or a quick carb, either like that protein bar. And I put air quotes because sometimes those protein bars aren't any better than candy bars.
a
But
candy bar. Yeah,
yeah, and or like a quick go through the drive-through or something like that because yeah, the
yeah.
kids are asleep, they don't transfer, or we're trying to get to some place and this is all we have time
hmm
for. And then you're always prioritizing others over yourself. And it's really easy to think that way, especially when your kids are so young, because they have so many
Yeah,
needs that they do need someone to be there for them to help out. And often that falls on the mom, especially like
yeah.
you, Teresa, you stay at home with them, so you're the only one there during the day. So like who else is going to be
hmm
there? So,
Yeah.
but with that in mind, what are some things that you've done to help break out of those traps of grabbing something quick, a quick carb, or always prioritizing
hmm
others over yourself?
I still prioritize the gym, and I was just so lucky to find a gym that I can go to, and the boys are just able to play, and then we just all work out, and the kids all play together. And then, like I said, I had found ways. I used to get really upset because I'd be like, oh my gosh, well, now I have to drive around. Like, if the boys fell asleep in the car, I'm like, I am stuck in the car
Yeah,
for an hour. And then I would be like at the next place I need to be, like the store or in the driveway, or whatever. And then I would be just scrolling on my phone. And then I kind of had started thinking of like, um, you know, and then same thing like with food and stuff. I'd be like, oh, well, see, I have to go through the drive-through. But now I have like a lunch pail that I can put like ice packs and stuff in it. So then I would be like, in case I'm out, I would bring nuts,
mm,
cheese. I make homemade muffins, carrot
yeah,
zucchini muffins, and I will make a big batch and I freeze a lot of them so that I can just pull out three, put them in a bag, and they thaw as the day goes on. Um, and so I started like mentally preparing, like, okay, I'm gonna leave the house. Worst case scenario, they fall asleep in the car.
yeah,
I have my snack bag of my good snacks. And then I bring my book, like I said, or I'm like, I'm gonna allow myself 10-15 minutes just to close my eyes in the parking lot or whatever. I'm now
yeah,
trying to find, I used to be like, well, I have no time. I have no time. Well, now I'm
right,
starting to be like, well, what can I do?
right,
um, to find those little moments of recharge. And yeah, like my water bottle, my books now come with me. everywhere I go.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
because I'm like, sometimes they fall asleep in the car, sometimes they don't, and now I'm prepared with my book.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I make a lot of muffins. So I and I freeze a lot of those muffins so that they're healthy, and I prioritize the healthier snacks. And like you said, yeah, you definitely got to be careful with those protein bars because
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of them you might as well just be eating like a Snickers bar. Like
Yeah.
they're basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. And
those are
I'm
little.
going to put you on the spot. I've asked you for this before, your muffin
Oh
recipe.
yeah. Oh, I know.
You gotta
I'm
give it to
like,
me.
I know. I gotta give it to
Yeah.
you. Yeah, the carrot
Right.
zucchini.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
muffins.
need that.
Yeah.
So yeah, our listeners might like it too, or maybe our listeners have some really good muffin recipes or protein recipes that
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
love
because my
to know
kids
about.
love muffins. Yeah.
Yeah, but I jotted down some things that when you were talking about how
Hmm.
you have this high demand
Hmm.
job being being a full-time mom, and so what it sounds like. So you and I love it. It's like you just you work with what the reality is that you have. Like,
Yeah.
would it in a perfect world, your kids would fall asleep and you can take them to the house and lie them down and then go take care of things.
Yeah.
But that is not the reality, and that's just not what happens. And so
Right.
instead of being mad and angry and like, oh, I'm failing as a mom, or all these other moms can
Hmm.
do it, like what's wrong with my kid, like how we can get spun
Right.
up with all these negative thoughts.
Oh yeah.
You work with what what is you're being dealt with, and so you're making the best of it. And again, it's not going to be
Hmm.
forever, right? It's not like they're going to
Right.
always fall asleep in the car all the time, but that's just how it is now. But like, this is the chapter you're in, and so you are
Yeah.
working within that, and so you are thinking a little bit ahead, having the books, having
Hmm.
those snacks available, having your water, whatnot, to make sure you're prepared if that happens. And so I love that. And so not every mom is going to be in the same circumstance, but every mom
Hmm.
has a circumstance where they wish their schedule was one way,
Yeah.
but in reality, their schedule is this way. So find
Yeah.
how you can ebb and flow with what that current challenges
Hmm.
that to work with you. And like you said, you even take time to kind of rest. You might not be able to actually fall asleep, but you're at least finding a way to relax and kind of recharging your battery a little bit.
Hmm.
So you're maximizing the time that you do have. So I love that you're doing
Yeah.
that. And that's a very good reminder for anyone. You don't even have to be a mom. We all have schedules. We all have
Yeah.
circumstances that aren't necessarily what we want, but it's what we have. And so instead of fighting it, resisting it, going into that negative headspace where, negative, 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 like, okay, what can I actually do to like flow with these circumstances? And
Yeah.
remember, they're not forever. That was like one of the biggest things
Yeah.
for me is whenever you're in whatever stage with your kids, it feels like that's just going to be how it is forever. And you have to remember this is
Yeah.
not forever. This is temporary. And eventually we're
Yeah.
gonna eventually gonna go to a new phase. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I really wish I was back in the other phase.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah.
now when I'm like, oh, I gotta go to the store or
Yeah.
something, and then I'm like, oh, we're close to nap time. Now I'm almost like, okay, boys, fall asleep, fall asleep, fall asleep,
Yeah.
so that I can read my book for an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and then what's nice is I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get to the store or wherever I'm at. I'm reading my book, and then they usually wake up from their nap, and therefore I'm like, I know they actually napped, and I get out their snacks, we have their snack, and we go right into the store. Like
Nice.
it's almost a easier transition for
Yeah.
me. And it just flows. So now it's actually funny where yeah, I'm gonna be sad when they no longer fall asleep and they're like,
Yeah.
no,
Like,
like come on
yeah.
now. Yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, I love that. I kind of recognize that it just yeah, it's easier, and yeah, it's easier to bring everything with me and not need it than be like, oh,
Right.
yeah, and then that way I'm
Yeah.
already out and about, and the other thing I kind of because I used to get so mad. Oh my God, I used to be like, yeah, I can't do anything, I can't go anywhere. Now I'm
Right.
stuck. And now, I'm like I'm making it work for me
Yeah.
instead of fighting what, because yeah, like you said, I used to go into like, all these other moms have it figured out. All these other moms can get their kids to sleep in their cribs or in their beds, and they have this
Yeah,
perfect routine. But that's just not, and I like being able to like come and go, and my boys fall asleep in the car, and that's
right.
nice. So I'm making it work for me instead of like fighting it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And so that brings us to kind of like the fifth tip, which is really a tip or which is how can we take all of these things and have it work for us now? So like we talked about restrictive calories, especially
Mm-hmm.
for moms. We used to be told you gotta watch your calories, calories in, calories out. And so we've talked about why cutting your calories down is not actually beneficial for you.
Mm-hmm.
So now we want to help shift moms their focus on like, okay, now what can you do? And so I remember when I was going to school, getting my first master's, and I had my health and nutrition class. The registered dietitian there, that's what she would say: calories in equals calories out, or a calorie is a calorie.
Mm-hmm.
And instinctively, I always just felt like that didn't make any sense. It's like surely 100 calories of whatever junk food is not going to be the same as 100 calories of fresh produce. Like how can I possibly have
Mm-hmm.
how can that possibly be the same, right? And so, and yeah, and my instincts were right, which a lot of people instincts were probably on the same wavelength, which is the quality of the food that you're getting
Mm-hmm.
is what really matters. And getting the fresh produce, the fresh whole food is really what's important for your body, trying to remove those super overly processed foods, the fast
Mm-hmm.
foods and everything like that, and so try to get more nutrient dense food. The tricky part, of course, is well, how can I do that? Prep time. There's a funny, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm such a dork, but there's like an Instagram meme. It was like, oh, I have a hard time packing my lunches for the week, and somebody's like, oh, you can meal prep the night before, and they're like, "Oh, I should have mentioned I have my kids at night too," or something like that. It's like, yes, I know, like, oh, just meal prep.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I have my kids
Yeah.
24/7. By the way, like, I don't ever.
Yeah.
It's just really funny. It's just like you're. The point is like you're always up against something. There's always something that's like keeping you
Right.
from getting to what you want to do. So, but like so for tips, and you already had mentioned one, which is like making those muffins, which is healthy and not as processed, but it's quick and ready to go. And if there is a way to meal prep, so some of the things I do is just when I'm cooking dinner, I'll try to make more of it. So I have one or
Mm-hmm.
two more meals for lunch during the week ready to go because I seldom have time in the mornings to actually make a meal for that day for lunch, especially. So
Yeah.
that's like you talked about, try to be clever and find ways to work in with whatever your current schedule is
Mm-hmm.
really going to
Yeah.
be the most beneficial instead of fighting against it, saying like, oh no, I will spend an hour every night making a meal. Maybe your schedule doesn't allow for that. So it's
Yeah.
like the first step is admitting. You have to
Yeah.
admit
Then
that
you
you don't
what? Yeah, you
have
got
this
to
time.
admit what you can and cannot do.
Right.
Yeah. For me, our grocery store makes rotisserie chickens, like a whole rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
And so I go buy that, and I can make many meals with that. And that's one
Yeah.
less thing that I have to deal with.
Right.
And yeah, I like Lunchable style lunches,
Oh, like the bento
where,
box kind of things.
yeah, the bento boxes,
Yeah.
and where it's just almost a no-brainer. Like because I love raw veggies, so it's like I cut up I cut up all my raw vegetables, usually on like a Friday or Saturday, and then that way I can just grab and go. And so
Yeah.
it's almost like a no-brainer where I can just, and I like for my dinners, I like to saute vegetables. So like they're already cut up and ready to go, and that's
Mm-hmm.
also a no-brainer where I can just kind of toss them and go. Because it's also like when I'm trying to prep a meal like that, I feel like it's just like, oh, I gotta cut up all these vegetables. But if I've already done all of that, it's just easier just to grab what I need and to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then it makes it easier for my kids to go in, and they love carrots, so they'll go in, and I notice like if I have already prepped and ready to go, my kids are more likely to eat those foods as well.
Right.
And
That's true.
I
Mm-hmm.
told them those are you can go in anytime and eat those fruits and veggies because they're just ready to grab and go. And that's a quick and easy, and it doesn't really take me a whole lot of effort to do on a Friday, Saturday. I can just get them done real fast
Yeah.
and they're
One
ready to go
thing,
for the week.
yeah, one thing we've talked about recently is recognizing the importance of protein, especially for women.
Hmm.
And so we were talking about, and we mentioned this before, the importance of protein, especially in the mornings. So a lot of people think they could skip breakfast. And again, to each their own. If it's working for you, great. But if you're still struggling with something, maybe it's worth looking into trying to eat breakfast. And I know for a lot of people, it's hard to eat breakfast because either you're like, I don't have time, or I'm not hungry. But there was a study done once where, and it really hit me because I'm a big coffee drinker in the morning. I
Hmm.
My husband does that really sweet thing where he'll bring me a cup of coffee, set on my nightstand. And so like literally first thing when I wake up, I'm sipping on coffee. Well, one of these studies revealed that drinking coffee or something that has a lot of caffeine on an empty stomach can tend to raise your cortisol levels because it's on an empty
Mm.
stomach. And as
Wow.
soon as I heard that, like, that feels right. Because I can always feel, they call it like the caffeine jitters, or
Uh,
I'm like, instinctively I knew that was accurate for me. At least I knew for me that probably
yeah.
was, raising my cortisol levels. I didn't get tested or anything, but like it feels right. So if I'm like, oh, but I don't want to eat in the morning, but I'm trying to recognize, I'm trying to become a new person, I'm a new improved, person.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm being a little stubborn headed. I can at
Mm.
least give it a try, right? So, and I don't do it every morning yet, but I do wake up and have a little bit of avocado or a little bit of an egg, just a little something in my stomach before I drink the coffee or as I'm drinking
Hmm.
my coffee to reduce the amount of cortisol, that jitteriness that you could
The,
possibly feel. And so I've been doing that. I think I have been doing better. I just recently started this, like within like the
mm.
last week. So I haven't been doing it long enough to say,
Long.
oh yes, it's changed my life. But I just felt instinctively that that was accurate. That
Yeah.
fueling my body with caffeine and sometimes Tylenol, like, yeah, that can't be good for my body. Like that's the only thing my body has until 11 a.m. Yeah. So I've been slowly trying to incorporate eating a little bit of something in the mornings, and it does require a little bit more effort because I was in that comfort zone. I was
Hmm.
in a routine, right? Drink my coffee,
Yeah.
prepare for the day. So going a little bit out of my routine but I'm like, if it's good for my body and then in the long run, it's going to help me set my day up for success, I'm going to do it. So I definitely challenge those who especially are like, no, I'm not a breakfast person. I don't eat breakfast. Again, if you are happy with your life,
Hmm.
keep going. But if you're struggling with something, or maybe that's worth trying just to see if it helps. And if it doesn't, then okay, at least you try. Like you say, Teresa, stay
Yeah.
curious. We're
Yes.
constantly, we're always, our body's constantly changing. So maybe it's going to work for you.
Yeah.
And maybe for women, maybe it's better certain times of the month versus other times of the month. You never know. So maybe you do need a little more protein, depending on where your cycle is at
Hmm.
and everything. So, but the other thing about is eating that protein in the morning. You've talked about this. I've recognized it for myself. Is that having that protein in the morning usually sets you up for more success. It reduces your cravings for
Hmm.
you. You said specifically like your sweet cravings. You've noticed that goes down later in the day, as
Yeah.
well as your hunger throughout the day by getting that protein
Yes.
in the morning. So not only does it benefit your body by reducing your cravings, but for women, it is so important to get that protein in throughout the day because I forget anybody you can look it up. It's anybody can Google it. Like how many grams of protein is recommended for women throughout the
Yeah.
day. But I think you said recently try to aim for whatever your weight is in grams per meal
Mm-hmm.
for protein. Did I say
Yeah,
that right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it sounds like a lot, like, oh my gosh, that's 150 grams, but it really comes down to like 4 or 5 ounces of protein. And
Yeah.
again, there's,
Grams, yeah,
yeah,
the grams, because like, yeah, for me, it would be like 130 to 140 grams, and you're like, oh my God, that's a lot. But then when
right,
it was like 4 ounces. I was like,
4 ounces
oh,
of like chicken
that's
breast or a couple
actually,
eggs or
yeah,
something. Right. Like, okay,
yeah. I'm
that's
like, oh,
doable.
that's
Right.
doable. Yeah,
Right. Or like a protein
yeah,
shake or something. So, yeah. So I definitely recommend trying to incorporate more protein, especially in the morning, just to set you up for a more successful day. And then, yeah, try to eat more protein for every meal. It's really easy to think you don't need it, but it really does do more than just help build muscles. It really does help
hmm,
balance your blood sugar level and reduce those cravings during the day too. So that would be like
yes,
one of the things I would recommend for moms, especially getting that protein in,
yes,
not just in the morning, but throughout the day. And
yeah,
there's tons of different ways to get your protein. It could be eggs, it could be like nuts, beans. If you're vegetarian, there's always a tofu, right, that you can
hmm,
incorporate. I actually like tofu. I used to not like tofu, but I have found ways
yeah,
to incorporate it. So there's tons of different recipes out there for
yeah,
tofu. But and then yeah, not try not to skip a meal because then you just
yeah,
get so hungry. It's like for me, it's like a bullet train. It's I get so
yeah,
hungry and then I eat so much more. It's like hard to slow down. So you want to
yeah,
try to, and I think didn't you say once like when you there are hunger cues your body will tell you before your stomach starts
yeah.
growling or something like that.
Yeah, usually, now this is like again, everybody's different.
Yeah.
Um, but like usually your stomach growling is usually your last sign. That's like your body's like, "Hello, I
We
need
have
to
passed.
eat." We have passed.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, our eating signs are usually way more subtle than what we actually realize.
Yeah.
But if you're not listening to those signs, then your stomach growling is like those alarm bells basically going off like hello, hello, check engine light, hello, I need you
Yeah.
to really pay attention to me now. That's usually what the yeah, the stomach growling. So yeah, mine yeah, because I got curious, and mine is usually like I just have a thought, a very subtle thought of like, oh, food sounds good, or yeah, this kind of like, yeah, that's
Hmm.
usually my first like little inkling, like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I need to eat something.
Right.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
know. I would ignore, especially when I was trying to be really regimented with eating. Like when I was like, oh, I can't eat until I don't know why I did this to myself, but
oh,
it's like I
like
can't eat
timed
until like
nutrition.
yeah, like I can't eat till
Yeah.
11. I guess I have to wait three or
Oh,
four
I did
hours
that
or
too. I was like, oh, I can only eat at
yeah,
7 o'clock and 10 o'clock and
right.
2 o'clock. Like I was very like on the dot. Yeah, I did that too.
Looking back now, right? Like we're all
Yeah.
learning, we're all figuring things out. It's like again, ignoring your body. And again, we tried it. Obviously, that didn't work for us. We didn't like it. But yeah, I just
Yeah.
remember trying to be like, bro, I can only eat these certain times. I don't know why, where it got in my head that like I had to eat at a certain time. But again, it's listening to your body. Sounds cliche, but like doing the dance with your body.
Yeah.
And just again, staying curious. So yeah, I would miss a lot of hunger cues, and then my stomach is growling. I'm starving, and then I eat,
Hmm.
and then I always felt like it took forever for me to feel full. So yeah, don't do that to
Yeah.
yourself. So on top of the protein, something else is also the fiber. Having the fiber is also really good because that helps you feel full and helps you feel
Hmm.
fuller longer. But then also, I think it also helps stabilize like your blood sugar levels. So fiber is
Yeah.
really good. I mean, I don't think anybody's like, no, I don't think so. Everybody knows fiber is good. I think we all just struggle with how to get incorporated more beyond,
Yeah.
I don't know, eating broccoli or what is it, like
Yeah.
Metamucil or something. I don't know. So, but yeah, figure out ways to get more fiber in your system is beneficial.
Hmm.
I think even things as simple as like spinach. Doesn't spinach have a lot of
Spinach.
fiber in it?
Yeah,
I'll
spinach
throw,
has a lot of,
yeah, and I'll throw spinach in my smoothie, my shake, my protein shake. So that's
yeah.
so you get your protein and then you're throwing some fiber in there too.
Yeah.
Double whammy. But
Yeah.
and then yeah, something else like we talked about sleep. Obviously, depending on what age your kids are, you might not be able to control the quality of sleep you get. But if there's any ways to improve it,
Yeah.
definitely utilize those. And I know we all know it, we all ignore it, which is avoiding, like you talked about, spending hours on your phone at night because it's like that alone time. You're you quiet, finally have like your me time. And
Yeah.
I would just challenge everybody, including myself, to find other ways for your me time that's more quality based for yourself. Like I look at being
Hmm.
on your phone, like social media, scrolling, like empty calories for your body.
Right.
Like it gives you a lot of pleasure, but then
Yeah.
when it's all said and done, you just feel, well, I was away. Like, what did I actually
Yeah.
do with myself?
Yeah.
I don't feel any better. So starting there, like, I mean, I don't know, maybe you get off Instagram or whatever, TikTok, you're like, yes, that was the best time of my life. Cool. But if you get off, you're like, ugh, I feel like I wasted I
Hmm.
just maybe figure out something else to do. So like Teresa, you and me, we were both trying to incorporate more reading books.
Yeah.
I like physical books, but I
I
guess
do
some people can
too.
use like the Kindles or
Yeah.
even maybe reading on your phone if that's
Yeah.
easier than holding up a book. But I don't know, like
Yeah.
what would be some other good night routine things for people to do that's not just scrolling on their phone? What do you think?
For me, I like doing like I like putting lotion on my
Hmm,
hands and feet, doing like I'll do like a little massage on my hands and feet.
that's
And it
cool.
helps
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, wind me down a little bit. And then, yeah, it just kind of, because my thing, like when I'm on my phone, I feel like the quality of sleep I get is also not as good. And I think there's been
Hmm.
studies about that, like the being on your phone and the quality of sleep. Um, and so I've also been trying to read more, and I almost feel like I get more rest because like a better sleep from reading from my book rather than being on my
Right.
phone. I've noticed that as well.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
that's
like
true.
to I'll do a face mask every once in a while.
That's a nice
Almost
one.
something even if it's like a 10-minute face mask, like it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but it's just my way of like winding down. I like having like a routine, doing my wash my face, wash my
Hmm.
feet or my teeth, and then do my hands and feet. Little, just like, and it's not anything crazy. It's just like a nice little wind down of my hands and my feet.
Yeah, that sounds really nice. Yeah, I like to read, and then usually while I'm reading, I'll listen to like sound bath music or some kind of calming music.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
enjoy that too. And then I've gotten into the practice of every night, and sometimes it's just 10 seconds, depending on how tired I am. I gratitude. I'll just try to list
Mm,
absolutely everything I can think of that I was thankful for that day. I mean, everything and
hmm.
anything. I mean, it could be as simple as I'm so thankful for the roof over our over me, or like the air I breathe, or the food I had.
Hmm.
Just getting into the habit of gratitude, and it's one of the last things I do before I fall asleep. And I've really enjoyed that practice too, be more having more gratitude. And then the same thing when I wake up, I try to have some of the first thoughts be that I'm thankful for the day and that it's going to be a good day. Some days it's tough, like I'll wake up and like, oh, I'm so tired. But then I'll like, oh wait, I don't have to think that. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true, but uh, shifting my
Yeah.
mindset back over to like being grateful for the day. So some days it's a little more of an effort, But I really
Yeah.
have been enjoying having that mindset going to bed too, especially.
Yeah, I've definitely been doing that in the mornings because my kids run in and they like jump on me and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, and I used to be like, oh my gosh, like, you know, and now I definitely am like, what a blessing that my sweet children come and wake me up.
Yes.
Like, and I just like that's their first like that's their first instinct is to come and jump on me and love on me. And I'm like, that's what a true blessing that is. And again,
Yeah.
like that's not gonna there's an expiration date on that.
Hmm.
There's gonna be a morning where they don't do that
Right.
and I might not even realize that.
Hmm.
And because sometimes we're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna realize when that happens. And
Right.
then you look back and you're like, when did that stop?
Yeah. When was that the
And
last
so
time? Yeah.
when was that the last time? And so I'm
Yeah.
just holding on to these because I know that there's an expiration for that. And
Right.
that almost breaks my heart a little bit
Yeah,
where
I
it's like,
know.
oh
It
my
really makes me
gosh.
teary-eyed. Yeah. I know. I was thinking
Yeah,
about
that
like,
there's,
yeah, like what comes to mind is like Gabby, she's 9 now and she's getting so tall. And it occurred to me the other day, like, man, when was the last time I carried her? I'm gonna cry. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
'cause I remember like trying to go to the park or going on a hike and like, oh, I'm tired. Like carrying. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till they can walk on their own. It's like, oh, no, now she is. I'm like, when was the last time I carried her?
One last time.
So yeah, I know if you like
Yeah.
really stop and think about it, it's like in a weird way, it's like sad, like how many things we're just like rapidly going through. And it's easy to
Hmm.
forget that because we're so in it still, especially like when our kids are young. But yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a lot going on. But yeah, exactly. So being having that gratitude is a great way to and to help you be present. Because again, we talked
Yeah.
about like wishing sometimes we wish our kids' childhood away because we're stressed or tired or it's just so overwhelming. And giving that moment of gratitude really helps you be present with what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's another good thing to do. And I think it probably helps your cortisol levels, your stress levels, and just helps you kind of reset a little bit instead of spinning out.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, so something else we have written down for to help busy moms, especially, is strengthen daily movement. And
Yeah.
movement is important. I mean, it feels like duh, but
Yes.
I again, because I love to like read news articles or studies about health and nutrition. And for mental wellness too, there is a study somewhere, I don't know where it is, but they talked about dancing. Just about any kind of
Hmm.
dancing can elevate your mood. It helps. It's almost more effective against depression than what did it say, like medicine or something. Anyways, so it doesn't have to be a particular kind of dance or a certain dance routine, but basically any kind of dance you can do will help
Hmm.
make you feel better. And I know you're a big advocate. You talked about that before too, dancing or throwing something on
Hmm.
YouTube or so sometimes in
Yeah.
the morning, and I think it's a great way just to bring more joy in your life. I'll listen to some fun songs in the morning while I'm getting ready, and just try to
Hmm.
have fun with it while I'm in the bathroom. And again, it doesn't have to take long, and doesn't have to be a certain routine. Just
Yeah.
whatever kind of shuffle you want to do. It's whatever makes you
Yeah.
laugh and brings joy to you is something fun that you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, because I love to do dance parties with the kiddos and we just run around and it was funny. There was one day where I put on a song, um, or a song came on as I was driving and we started dancing in the car and the kids were laughing at me because I'm driving and I'm just dancing
Yeah,
away and yeah, and it was just so fun because then they started dancing and
right,
it just made it so memorable
right.
and yeah, and they were laughing and now I'm like, oh yeah. So they like to
Yeah.
do put on fun music in the car and dance.
Yeah, it's just a great example of
Yeah.
bringing more joy into your day too. Because yeah, for
Yeah.
busy moms, so easy to just get caught up on the to-do list, the schedule, and it's tough to find those sparks during the day. So put on a fun song, and is a
Yeah.
fun way to bring some joy, elevate the mood, as
Yeah.
they say. Yeah, and then like kind of like the last thing to wrap up is just when we talked about sustainable things that you can do day in and day out in your schedule. Like we talked about, stop fighting against what you wish your schedule was like and start working with what the schedule is you currently have, or whatever the
Hmm.
circumstances are with your kids or your family or your job. Because really just sitting there and thinking about how miserable it makes you is really just going to make you more miserable. And it's not to say don't validate it. You can absolutely acknowledge how tough it is. I mean, please do
Yes.
that. Don't deny yourself that. Like, yeah, this is really tough. This is a stressful part of, you know, my life, or this week in particular has a lot of things going on. That's how I was last week. I had so many things going on, and so I was aware of it. I didn't deny myself the fact that it was super busy, and I allowed myself the moments where I could to try to balance it out as best I could. And there are sometimes you do kind of have to push through. Like, I gotta get this stuff finished, but then making sure you find some time after the fact to give yourself back that calm down time. So I communicated with Dave, like, hey, I got a lot going on. I'm wiped. I'm zonked. I think even you and I were supposed to do a call together, and
Yeah.
part of me felt guilty, like, oh, I want to do it. I was like, man, my body, I am just spent. I need some downtime. And I love that, I communicated that to you, and you're like, got it. I understand. Like, there was no guilt. Like, so that's I was
Yeah.
thankful for that, I knew I could tell that to you and you would understand. But then
Yes.
it's just, but recognizing like that, moms, right? We were always trying to be there for others and help others.
Mm.
And it's super important to make sure you're not forgetting yourself in that time too. So what are some other things you would think are sustainable habits for especially moms that are having super demanding lives?
Yeah, I feel like you picked some really good ones. Yeah, because I would definitely really check in with yourself and make sure that you're not, are you doing things because you think that's what others are expecting of you to
Yeah.
do? And like, if you don't do the laundry today or you don't do the dishes today, is the world really gonna end? Like sometimes it's like it's better to sit down and rest than be
Yeah.
like, oh, I'll rest later, I'll rest later. But then sometimes something always else comes up.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, and I feel like sometimes we feel guilty, like, oh, well, this needs to get done because it almost feels like a the world's gonna end if it doesn't get done. But I would
Yeah.
challenge that of like, if I rest for 10, 15 minutes, then I might be able to actually get more done later rather than trying to fight the rest that you need. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, again, like just stressing of what can you do with what what your schedule and family life is in reality, and not wishing, well, this is what I should be doing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I would just be more realistic with what you can actually do and
Yeah.
not to overload yourself with all of these things that may not actually be important. So,
Yeah, and then to circle that back around to, for women, for eating,
hmm.
instead of eating less, finding some things that you can do throughout the day. Ask yourself some really important questions, like when during the day are you the most hungry? So
Yes.
maybe ask yourself that. So I know, I for me it used to be like I could eat well during the day, but then it was in the evening I would just be starving, or like kind of have my cravings. And looking back, I
Hmm.
probably wasn't eating the amount of protein that I should have been eating throughout the day. And so yeah, just be curious about when are you the most hungry, or when are you the most irritated, or
Hmm.
when you get the most stressed out. Maybe start from there and kind of work yourself backwards. Like, okay, well, if I do eat a little bit more protein in the morning, will that help? And, maybe log your protein for a little while to see how much protein you're getting and how that compares to your
Hmm.
cravings and your mood and how hungry you are later. So make sure you ask yourself that: when am I the most hungry during the day? So something else is, what foods make you feel energized, right? So we always, and it's not a bad thing necessarily, but we're always like grabbing the package and looking at the calories, like, okay, how many calories is this? Can I eat this? Uh, but maybe one of the first questions you should ask yourself is, how does this food make me feel? Do I feel good after
Hmm.
I eat this? So maybe try doing that for a while instead of always just looking at the calorie count. Uh, yeah, like, oh, this, like, is there food that brings you joy that that's not just because it's like a craving, like, oh, I want a cupcake because that makes me happy. Um, you still have the cupcake, girl. Have the cupcake. But for day in and day out, are there other foods that really excite you that you really enjoy? So, and again, it doesn't always have to be the same thing. And like seasonally, in this
Hmm.
season, the winter season, I really like Brussels sprouts. I used to not like Brussels sprouts, but then I learned how to cook Brussels sprouts in a way that I really
Russell,
like.
yeah.
So now I get excited with my Brussels sprouts, and I will do a little bit of balsamic vinegar glaze on it with a sprinkle of Parmesan
Hmm.
cheese. If you want to get really fancy, I throw in some cranberries and some, was it walnuts? Oh, dang. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I
So,
just I
you know
just
what I'm
did a
talking about?
recipe. Yeah, I just did a recipe a bake of like butternut squash,
Oh,
carrots.
yes.
Yeah, and then I threw that and I put cinnamon and then yeah, the walnuts and cranberries.
Oh, that sounds
And it like
amazing.
literally smells and tastes
Yes.
like the holiday. Oh
Right.
my gosh. I was like,
That
so
sounds
yeah,
so good.
now, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, finding things I think to fit the season can get you really excited. Because yeah, it made me so
Yeah.
excited to like eat this, and I'm like, I can't wait to make it again. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, those are, yeah, butternut squash, you said. Spaghetti squash? Have you ever had spaghetti squash? I love some spaghetti squash.
I haven't had spaghetti squash.
Oh, you gotta have spaghetti squash. Oh, it's so good. It's so easy to make. The hardest part about it is cutting it. I think there's a tip if you like stab it with a fork and put it in the microwave.
Oh.
Anyways, you can Google it. But spaghetti squash is so easy. Just throw it in the oven, like some salt and pepper, olive oil, and then yeah, you just pull it out. Once it cools off, you can use a fork and scrape it out, and it's looks like spaghetti. And I throw it on with like some chicken breast,
Oh,
some marinara.
yummy.
Oh yeah, so good. Anyway, so yeah, so foods that make you feel energized. I think we're getting hungry. I think
We love
we're
our
those are our
foods.
signals.
Yeah.
And then like, what fits into your schedule? And again, our
Hmm.
schedules are not always going to be the same. They literally change with the seasons. Sometimes it's going to be more demanding than other times. But like, what can fit in your schedule? We always have that list of, oh, I should. I should go to the gym. I should do this. I should go for a run for 2 hours or whatever it is. Again, it's like, okay, that's nice, but what from that can you actually do? And first of all, like,
Hmm.
don't feel guilty if you can't do all of it. Like, for heaven's sakes, we already do
Yes.
so much. So what can you do day in and day out? Like something that I know that I can do that's sustainable and that it really has like an ROE, a high return on investment, is the gratitude affirmations that I do at night and in the
Hmm.
morning. It literally costs nothing, and sometimes it can, all it needs to be is like 10 seconds. And it just really, over, I've been doing that consistently for months now. And in the beginning, it would make me feel good, but I tell you, the compound positive effect of doing that,
Hmm.
I cannot overstate enough how much it has improved my life. And I know that might sound like a little bit ridiculous, but when you start incorporating it, it helps you shift what you think about. And when you start changing what you think about, it starts changing your reality and how you see things. And so I'm starting to see more goodness. I'm just more amazing, positive things are happening in my life. And I want to say it really has come down to shifting and focusing on the gratitude. So, anyways, that's my personal experience
Yes.
with that, and it's free and it costs nothing, and the benefits are huge. So, that is a tip I would strongly encourage you to try, is the affirmations.
Yeah, I
What
love
are,
that.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
What about you? Are there anything else you can think of, like habits that you feel like, okay, I can do this forever. Not only do I want to do this forever, but I need to do this because it's
Yeah.
so valuable for me.
Yeah, I started doing the affirmations where I write it down. Because for me,
Yeah.
it's like I can say them, but for me, it's more powerful when I write them.
Hmm.
So in the identity change of like, I used to say like I just want to be a good mom. And now I write I am a good mom. I'm
Yes,
a
yes.
caring mom. I'm a loving mom. And I just take 1 to 2 minutes and I write down. And then at the very end, I write myself like a little love note of like Teresa, I love you. And I'm never going to leave you again. I'm always going to be here.
Mm,
Um, and that's been powerful.
yeah.
And like, and then when I've gone back to read through the little things, I feel so much love for myself
Yeah.
that I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can just see how I'm changing. And then,
Right.
like you said, those compound things where it's like
Right.
now I'm starting to make little better choices with
Hmm.
my eating and my planning. Like I said, where now I plan like, oh, I'm gonna be out of the house, so I'm gonna plan these healthier snacks of like the nuts and the cheese,
Right.
like the little yogurts and stuff. Like I can plan those little things because it's nourishing my body. Um, and I usually I know I might be hungry at those times. So
Mm-hmm.
again, like even when I'm out and about, I still have food available. And those first moments of wanting to eat, where instead of like back then, I used to be like, oh, well, you know, I need to eat less or whatever. And now I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm eating to sustain my life, what I'm doing right now.
Right.
So I think once you start, yeah, all of these things compound to one
Hmm.
another.
Yeah.
And like it all goes back to like eating less. It was all about punishment.
Right.
And then when you start truly loving yourself, you're like, no, I actually do need food. Food is not scary. Food is, I need these foods and I love these foods. And then you start eating differently and you're wanting to eat a different way. So yeah, they all compound and they all, I think, end up working
Yeah.
all together.
Yeah, like all
Yeah,
holistically together. Yeah.
yeah.
So what would you say the bottom line is? Do you have the
Hmm.
do you have that the sheet, the bottom line?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the bottom line of eat less often fails because it oversimplifies weight loss rates into a calorie only equation, ignoring biology, stress, sleep, hormones, and lifestyle. Instead, focus on consistent nourishment, balanced habits, stress and sleep support, and long term lifestyle changes.
Yep.
So, well, I think that's about it. Anything else to wrap up?
No, I think we covered a lot. So yeah, definitely if you have suggestions of things that have worked in your life that you want to share with other moms out there that might help them, definitely reach out to us and we'd love to hear about it. That's all I have.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Now go hit that follow button and please, please, please leave a review. We want to hear from you. Go back now and listen to the Lies and Whys part 1 and 2. We know you'll get so much out of these episodes. Strong women,
Strong Village.
no sugar.
All love.
Until next time.
All right. Love you, sis. Talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, love you, sis. Bye.